Welcome to Crooners and Coffeeshops, everyone. My name is Heather. Today I have Kat Meoz here to discuss new music, including her latest release, Run Tonight, and other fun things that have occurred in her life. Kat, would you like to kind of let us know how you got started in music and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. Hi. Thanks for having me on here. I always sang. I just always sang. I remember as young as preschool being asked to do the solo at some like preschool end of year recital. And just kind of going from there, I was always chosen for the solo. And it just like at a very young age, it was just kind of instilled in me by my teachers and by all the people around me that that was a gift that I had. And I felt very confident about it. So it was just always my thing. And I started writing songs super young, I'd say like 6 or 7. I recently found one of my first songwriting journals. So I must have been able to learn. I could write by first grade. So it must have been like second or third grade that I had this journal. And I have never been really to get away from music and acting. It's just kind of always been the thing that brings me the most joy. And I'm a very stubborn, prideful person. And anyone that kind of told me along the way, this is going to be a hard journey, like it just didn't even register, you know? I just always felt like this was my path.
Yeah. So, don't let the haters get you down.
There's going to be a lot of haters when you're passionate about something. There's always someone, you know? So you just kind of got to stay true to what you know feels right.
Yeah. And hopefully one day we'll be able to get to hear those old first grade songs that you wrote.
I know. Actually, I remember a few of them so well. I was thinking the other day I should record one as a joke because it's all about like friends and, you know, like things going wrong. And it's so dramatic. It's like amazing how dramatic it is. It kind of blows my mind. It's almost like I had the same problems in first grade that I have now. I don't know.
I think a lot of people could actually find joy in it right now. So
yeah,
very, very relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Spread the positivity.
It's a lovely day. It feels good today.
Yes, yes. And you've been busy during this entire year, not only with the release of your EP, KVRZ. I don't know why I said Ez.
Oh, it's all good. It's meant to spell covers, and the label that put it out wanted it to kind of look like my last name, so that's why they spelled it like that.
Oh my gosh, I can see it now. That didn't even register in my mind.
I know, it's not that obvious. They really were reaching with that one.
You would think that I would like figure that out because Fall Out Boy's Thanks for the Memories is like my favorite Fall Out Boy song. And like, you know, that spelling is like off the wall already. So my bad. I didn't have enough coffee yet.
That's cool.
Yeah, but you've also released a few other singles and you recently released Run Tonight. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I really love that song. It's really happy. I don't always put out happy sounding music and I just wanted to do something different. And it's always exciting when you want to do something different and people support it. So thank you. And that song just takes me to another place and I just get really happy every time I hear it. I don't think I've put out many dance, quote unquote, songs, but that's a song I feel like I can dance to.
Yeah, and it's always appreciated to have some fun, happy, uplifting songs in dark times. And, you know, the rainbow has come out finally.
It feels like it. Yeah, it's kind of, the timing of that song. At first I was like, oh, why did I choose to put out a song like on the day of the election? It's like, what a weird day I chose. And now I'm like, actually, it was great. It was great.
Yeah. We would love to know how like the songwriting, recording, and promotion process has been kind of similar or different between all of the releases that you've had in 2020. Actually, if you're willing to go through the entire discography, we'd love to hear that too.
I mean, I was just going to kind of summarize that, you know, for me, a big part of putting out music is also dreaming up content, and it hasn't really been possible this year. So it's been very different this year, you know, because I've been working from home kind of alone on most of these songs and just emailing back and forth files with people. Whereas in the past, everything I've always done is in person. So it's really different, you know, because I'm still making great music, which I'm very thankful for. But, you know, that human connection and dreaming up with friends that are videographers and photographers, like coming up with content and being able to like give a little extra life to something and see that all come together is just like, it's not really been possible for me this year. And it's, it's whatever it is, what it is. You just kind of have to like do what we do in these times now and keep moving forward. But my process previously has been to work in person with producers or other songwriters and sometimes rewrite something. Sometimes it takes me like a couple years just because, we can't work on something every day with the same people. So sometimes it takes almost a couple years to finish a song by the time you get the same people to kind of come back and rediscover, what you'd worked on previously. So I'm kind of losing my train of thought here because I keep going off on tangents, but basically it's just different now. I don't have that in-person connection and things are getting done faster. I feel like because I'm sending files to people, they're like turning it over quicker than it would happen in real life because there were so many more distractions in the old days. So yeah, and back in the day, I would just kind of like get the music done, and then from there, depending on what label I work with, because I work with a few different people. Some people, when I'm done with a song, I just kind of deliver it to them and I say, "Hey, do you like this?" And they either say yes or no. And then some people, like the covers EP, they come to me and they say, "Hey, we want you to do an EP of covers, and we found a producer for you, and this is how it's going to kind of go." So yeah, every project I do is different, and I actually like that, like the variety of whether I'm dreaming up something original and looking for a producer on my own, or whether a producer's being assigned to me. It's nice for me creatively to kind of not be doing one thing all the time.
Yeah, and I like that you brought up the fact about, there's so many distractions that we were having, prior to COVID, because I feel like a lot of people kind of agree with you on that sense because now it's like, okay, I don't have to go to all these events. I don't have to do all these shows. I don't even have to go to the office kind of thing. So I feel like it's been a learning experience for not only creatives, but just people in general to kind of learn to refocus what's important in their life now that they have like an quote unquote unlimited amount of time.
Totally. And I feel like the only thing that pulls from my focus now is like any kind of like personal issue that I've actually probably needed to like work out and give time to that I never gave time to before previously. So it's like if I don't come into my music room and make music because I'm like kind of down because of what's happening in the world, that's kind of an indicator for me that like this year is a time to work on what's keeping me from being my best self, So there are some positives to this year. I feel like I've talked to a lot of people that have never been in therapy before. Now they're in therapy, they're really working on themselves. We talked about Mercury retrograde before we started recording, and some people that came back from my past said to me, like, I've spent the whole year reflecting on how I acted towards you, they would have never done that before, and it's kind of great in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm in the same boat as the people that have discovered therapy and how it's been awesome. I still need to find a good therapist for myself.
Yeah.
I can't do the online therapy thing. It's just not my
Yeah.
thing. So
It's
that'll
all
be a post-COVID project. But I now realize that yes, I need it. I've had all this time to think about all my demons, and I don't like it. So
Yeah, it's hard. I know.
yeah. Yes, but we're going to get through it, and we've got all your fun, positive music
Thank
to,
you.
to keep us alive here. And you've gotten the chance to have your music featured in TV shows and films and video games and even like ad campaigns, which is awesome. And it's very impressive to have on your resume, that's for sure.
Thank you. It's the dream.
Yes,
Truly.
yes.
Yeah.
If you could provide the soundtrack for any of these works, whether it's a show, a movie, a video game, or even like a bunch of ad campaigns, what do you hope the genre would be, or what would you want the storyline to be?
I'm really hoping for some sports ads. That's kind of my next thing I'm trying to manifest. I have some friends that get a lot of NFL. I had a good friend just get a huge wrestling placement, and I just think sports is an area I haven't gotten yet. So it's kind of like the one I've got my eye on next for sure. And I'm actually recording an LP right now that I think it's going to happen. It's very sports oriented music. So
Awesome.
yeah.
I feel like that's such an untapped territory for a lot of artists.
I mean, yeah, just getting in the ad game in general is an untapped territory for a lot of artists. It's hard to have the kind of music that people want to like collaborate with you to like sell their product or sell, their sporting events or whatever, So it's definitely untapped in general. And it's, it's just the thing that makes me the happiest when I see these. And I have to see it because I get a lot of placements that I'll just never see because they're overseas. They're not put online. They're not on, not in America on TV. No one ever sends, like, not ever, no one ever, but most of the time people don't send me a link to see like what my music got placed in. So I don't see a lot of it. And the thing that makes me happy is when I see it and I experience my music, like soundtracking these shows. That's so cool. So yeah, I'm hoping for more of that because that's really what like excites me is that like people want to collaborate with me.
Yeah, the 2021.
Yeah, 2021. Let's see those ads.
Yes, yes. Ads are always important. We always forget about them, but they're very
Yeah,
important.
absolutely.
And a fun question for you. If you could choose 3 artists to go on a world tour with, who would you choose and what would you name your tour?
Oh, that's so hard. Oh my gosh. I have different answers for different reasons. Like I would love to go on tour with my more like fun electronic music like Run Tonight with someone like Marshmello because I just think he's so fun and all the music that camp works on is like so badass and they have such a good following and it's like such a fun young kind of like EDM like party following that I just feel like that tour would be a really really good time. And also
Yeah.
I feel like that would be like a super duper fancy world tour which I could get behind for sure. For the more rock stuff, I would love to go on tour with like Jack White or like White Stripes or something. I used to have a garage rock band called Grit, and that would have like worked really well as an opener for someone like Jack White. But again, like Jack White or like Black Keys, like kind of like the old music I used to put out would be a good fit for that. And those are just musicians and guys songwriters I have so much respect for, and their music gets me so excited that would be huge to get to go on the road with them. And I'm thinking a third one. I don't know if I was supposed to put all 3 people on one tour, but I'm going with 3 separate tours.
Oh, I mean, they could definitely be on the same tour. We have had weirder tours, that's for sure. We had Blink-182 and Lil Wayne. I don't think anything could be weirder than that.
Okay, fair enough. Sometimes I fantasize that the label in Germany that I work with, Cloud Kid, I always kind of wish that they would do like some kind of like tour with all their artists so that they would ask me to join. So I kind of like I fantasize about that a lot. So if I could do a Cloud Kid tour, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, when the travel bans are lifted.
Yes, get me to Europe.
Yes, which will probably be next year at this point, since there are spikes right now.
I know, it's hard to believe, but yeah.
We'll get through it. We've got the power of music on our side.
Exactly.
As a female artist, do you feel that women in the music industry need to portray themselves in certain ways in order to be successful?
No, I feel like that paradigm is like dying, dead. I feel like there's so many young, confident women in the music industry that just do not care what anyone thinks. And I think it's so wonderful and empowering to see them all coming up. I was just kind of went deep on Noah Cyrus's Instagram and I was just like, man, she's so confident and doesn't care what anyone thinks of her and doing so well and just kind of up and coming. And I think it's so refreshing, I'm glad that like these ideas that women have to portray themselves in a certain way is dying off, and it's the kind of thing I think that's always going to be somewhat in our DNA to think that we have to be a certain way, and I feel like even for myself, sometimes I feel like I can't like totally like unleash the beast, but I feel like I have to be somewhat proper. But as I watch other people be so free, like my friend Liv is an artist named Femme, and she's so free and doesn't seem to care what anyone thinks and is doing so well because of it. And, I just come from like a very conservative family. So I feel like a lot of that gets in my head about how I portray myself publicly. But I'm just like so refreshed, like so happy to see all these younger millennials that just are not held back in any way by like any idea of what they need to be. And I'm like really inspired by that.
I'm really happy to see the younger generation like putting all of these stereotypes aside because they are our future. That's such a cliche thing to say, but it's true. Like younger people will look up to people that are their age. And when you have women and even men that are breaking the norms and such, that is huge progress for the future.
Yeah, totally.
And if you could give your younger self any advice in regards to what you've experienced within music or within life in general, what advice would you give her?
When people ask me that question, I usually say to say yes, and that's true, like just to say yes to opportunities, because I am a perfectionist and I said no to a lot of things because I thought it wouldn't turn out perfect, and I was trying to wait for all these like puzzle pieces to fall into place so that everything was perfect. But I've seen later in life saying yes to things that I wasn't prepared for necessarily brought so much more opportunity. The other thing I would say is to kind of know your rights, like your legal rights as a musician. Much earlier in my career, I lost some big music placement opportunities, and I was so young. I was like 19, and I was working with a team that was just like kind of all over the place, didn't end up working out as my team. And I didn't know my rights back then, and things could have just turned out way different. I was just listening to older people tell me what to do instead of knowing what I should be doing as the artist and the songwriter in the situation. So yeah, that would be my advice. And I still need to take my own advice. Like there's like all these music business books that people are like, you should read this. And I should. Now is the time.
Yeah, now that we have all the time in the world to read all the things.
Right, I know.
I have like a giant stack of like graphic novels and comics and, my regular books and such. I should probably also take a gander at my music books too. That's a great reminder, actually.
I know. Now's the time to learn. I'm actually starting a 3-month like intensive guitar course because I felt a little stuck in my guitar writing lately, and I just haven't taken a guitar lesson in years. So I was like, you know what? Now's the time. What else am I doing? Besides writing music and getting stuck on guitar, I may as well use this opportunity to get unstuck, right?
Yeah, that's so awesome. Life is a learning experience.
Yeah, I want to look back on 2020 and be like, that was the year that I unlocked the guitar to the most epic degree, and I shred now. That's what I want. We got to look back on this year and take away good things.
Yes, absolutely. And what do you hope that your audience will take away from your music?
I hope that my music makes people feel good. Like it's kind of one of those things where I'm just like, I hope they hear it and they want to hear it again, because there's so many songs that I can listen to on repeat for like an hour. I have done that before where I literally just kept a song on repeat as I was driving like on a road trip. I was alone, so I wasn't driving anyone else crazy, but I can listen to certain songs over and over and over again and not really get sick of them. And I just I always think that with my music where, I just hope it makes someone feel like, oh, I want to hear that one more time,
Those are always the best. I do the same thing. I'll just sing them in my car. Be like, you're going to question me on the lyrics? I sing this song every day. Like 10 times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I don't know if I've written that song yet, but I'm hoping that I will write a song like that where it's just like gets stuck in people's head and they want to keep hearing it. So that's kind of like getting the big ads and writing a hit are like my music dreams for sure.
And speaking of music dreams, you already mentioned that you're working on an LP, but what other big exciting things should we be expecting from you in the near future?
I'm working on so much music. It's crazy. I'm going to put out an LP, which is great. And it's the same producers as the covers EP and the royalty EP. So it has that energy and that amazing songwriting. And I'm very excited about it. So I've been working on that. And I'm also working on an EP for Cloud Kid. I've got one song approved, and I've got more ideas that we're still going back and forth with the producer on them. So that I hope will come out, if not spring, then summer. And then I've been working on another EP that's a little bit more alt rock, actually. But the songwriting is so good. It's like, I can't not put it out, it's also super ad friendly and super catchy. And all those songs are like written from, just like that magic place that I'm used to of like working with people in real life and writing songs together in, the flesh. So I'm excited about that. So it's pretty cool.
We're excited to see the many different aspects of who Kat is. That's for sure.
Yeah. The other thing I love about the younger artists now is like they don't let themselves get stuck in one genre. When I was starting out, I would write songs, and I still do, that sound like one genre of music, a whole nother genre of music. And people would be like, you can only have like one sound. You have to pick. You can't have cross genre. And it was so disheartening to me at the time, because I was like, oh, all these songs are so good. Like, how do I choose one and stay in that lane? That's not fair. And now everybody, just like bring up the Cyruses again, like Miley Cyrus is just like, she doesn't care. Like she'll put out any genre of music and it just like does so well. And it's just so great that people are so accepting of it now. because it does make me feel like I can put out an alt rock EP and, you know, an electronic EP and a swagger rock LP, and no one's gonna give me a hard time about it, you know?
That's always the hope. I always want to say that in the future, we will have 0 genres and everything will just be music. It's like, oh, you want to listen to this awesome music? Hell yeah. What type of music is it? It's just music. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. It's just a great song. Let's listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where can everybody find you online?
It's my name, Katmeoz. It looks like Cat Meows, but there's many different ways to say it. You can pretty much search my name on any social media, and my music's streaming on every platform. And I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the things.
And here at Crooners and Coffeeshops, we love our coffee. Unfortunately, due to pandemic, a lot of our favorite shops are still closed, but we still support local businesses, whether it's by pickup or drop off. Today, I went to Hilltop Coffee. It's actually like 10 minutes away from my house. And I was like, I wonder what they have for seasonal specials, you know, something like fall or wintry. And they had a sweet potato latte. And I was like, I'm intrigued. I'm going to get this. And
Yeah.
I don't know where this has been in my life. And I have noticed that there's been an influx of plant-based coffees, and I am, you know, I'm not angry about it, but it's delicious.
That sounds great.
Yeah, so shout out to Hilltop Coffee.
Yeah, Hilltop Coffee.
Yeah, Kat, do you have any favorite coffee shops that you like?
I have so many. And I've been experimenting so much lately with coffee. I think my new favorite thing is a flat white. But in Echo Park, I like Woodcat. They put cardamom in their lattes and flat whites and all that, and that's delicious.
It's like a nice cardamom.
It's just like a nice little spice, you know. And I go to places that have it and they'll put too much, but Woodcat knows the amount. They've got it down. It's like the perfect hint. And then I went to a new place, kind of on the cusp of West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, a few days ago, that is called Soul, and that stands for Strings of Life. And it's kind of hidden, but it's right at La Cienega and Melrose. Amazing. It was first of all, the food's amazing. I just found out it's the same owner as a restaurant called EPLP, which is a great restaurant. And I had a matcha there that was incredible.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
More.
I can just like jump around. And then in Vegas, I love Mothership Coffee. They have it down. There's a couple places that use Mothership Coffee, but then there's the actual flagship store, I think is what it's called. And they like also do the cardamom, and they do it just right. So those are the 3 places I go to the most. I'm always looking for good matcha places. I do also love Matcha Bar, but I don't know if the one in LA closed, because I think it might have, sadly, because it was in an area of Silver Lake that was hit pretty hard by the pandemic. So I think the Matcha Bar in Silver Lake might be gone, but there's still one in New York, and I love Matcha Bar. Yeah.
Yeah. For matcha, there's a place called Chitchat Cafe here in like little Japantown. And that matcha is pretty good. And there's Coffee for Sasquatch. That's in the Melrose area. Okay. And they, during like the winter time, they do have like a cardamom latte. So that's also a fun one that you might want to check out too, since you love cardamom.
I will check that out for sure.
Yeah. It's like right next to Golden Apple Comics.
Okay, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
That's like La Brea Melrose. All right, cool. I've actually seen Sasquatch, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much coffee, all the coffee love.
I mean, every day I want to go to a coffee place, literally. Some days I have to fight it, you know, just because it's like I have so much matcha and tea and stuff at my house, and I've gone to the degree of like buying the finest of all ingredients so that I have stuff at my house that I really like, you know. Mm-hmm. But there's just nothing like going to a coffee place.
Oh, yeah.
And just like, especially now, I feel like my addiction to going to get coffee has gotten worse, because it's one of the few things I can still do during this, to like get out and go somewhere. And even if like no one's going to talk to me because I have mask, sunglasses, and a hat on, and who knows what I look like, you know, just the experience of like that moment of socializing where I order my drink and like stand at the bar waiting for it is just like that like piece of my day that brings me joy right now.
Oh, yeah. I totally feel the same way. I'm like, this is like kind of normalized. Like I'm here at a coffee shop. It makes me happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kat, so much for joining us today
Thank you for
on
having
this
me.
very happy day.
The best day.
Yeah.
Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. All right.
We can't wait for all of the music that you're going to be releasing in 2021.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited about it, and I will send you all the special links.
Woo! All right, everybody. Stay safe out there, everyone, and stay caffeinated.
Bye.
Bye.